Okay guys, welcome to the Friday Waffle once again. It's the weekend, thank goodness. I trust you've all had a fairly decent week. Weather-wise, it's not been bad. I mean, it's bitterly cold, really cold, but at least we've kind of not had that horrible rain and wind that we've kind of been plagued with for about the last, feels like the last year actually, although it's probably been, I don't know, since summer last year. So I think we're certainly looking forward to better weather. But one great thing is you can actually see it starting to get light now. I mean, at 5 o'clock it's not pitch black, so I can't wait for the later nights to come in. So anyway, what have I been up to this week? Work, as usual, is extremely busy. No change there. But don't mind being busy. It's better than being quiet, that's for sure. Gaming wise, what have I been doing? Have I been playing any games? I'm looking at the name cap. Nah, you know what? The only games that I've actually played this week has really been games that I was playing for videos. I mean, as some of you might have seen, I got an idea just to look at every version of Mamemeister. I'm trying to even think how that came about. Don't know, no idea, but something I got an idea in my head. I thought I'll look at every version of Mamemeister, so it was quite interesting. And what was quite surprising is just how, although on the surface every version looks very similar, if it's not exactly the same number of pixels and the platforms are slightly different, then they play differently. But one thing that was for sure, the Spectrum version is definitely the best, which you'd expect because after all it was the original. But I was playing my main card for a wee bit. I was doing a kind of wee look at some shooters, and again, I've no idea where the idea came from. I thought to myself, wouldn't it be fun to play a football game and to rename, to do it as a sort of like a YouTuber's a living. So I picked the really wonderful Emily Hughes Soccer. I mean, it's been a long time. I used to play that quite a lot back in the day on the C64. I was very rusty, and to be honest, I only did one take, and I actually expected to, I half expected to get beat, but that was it. I was going to play the one game, get beat, and put the video up. But as luck would have it, I won the first game, which was like the quarter final. There was then a draw in the semi-final, which meant I had to play another game, and we won that, and then we played England in the final. So that was really good fun, and I must admit, when I was listening back to my sort of commentary, it's quite funny when you hear just how kind of into it I was getting. I mean, it's funny that though, it doesn't matter whether it's real, whether it's on TV, or whether it's just computer. You actually forget, as far as you're concerned, you're competing, and you get the competitive spirit going there, and that was certainly sort of prevalent when I was playing that game. It's funny how when Sensible Soccer was out, me and my mates, I mean, we used to, like most people, we used to play it all the time, and sometimes you would go to work maybe the next day or whatever, or maybe a couple of days later, and you would be thinking about, you're thinking about some football game, thinking, yeah, that was a really good game and blah blah blah, it was a cracking goal. And then you remember it, you think to yourself, wait a minute, that was a computer game that I was thinking about. But you tend to forget, your brain doesn't really, although it's a computer game at the time, after a wee while you kind of forget that, and it's kind of easy to sort of think of it as an actual real life, which is just ridiculous. But anyway, so that's that. So yeah, Mamemeister, some shoot 'em ups, and Emily Hughes International Soccer. Not been playing anything else. One thing I've got to say, and I'm looking at it right now, is I've really not played my PS4 or my Xbox One for a while. Well, that's maybe not entirely true. The Xbox One, I mean, I've not played it for maybe 2 weeks. What was I playing? I've been playing the Batman game. Is it I can never remember the name of it. Batman Arkham Asylum, or is that? I can't remember what one it is. It was the latest one, or it's been out maybe about a year. I was getting into that, but it's always the same with me. I get into a game and then I don't play it for a week, and then before I know it, it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then I completely forget all about it. But PS4, I've really not been playing it at all. I've just, like I said, I've not been playing any games apart from really to make videos, so I really need to change that. What I'm wanting is to get a game that I can get my teeth into that will make me want to play it. You know, there's nothing better than playing a game that you're able to save, and then you look forward, you know, before you know it's 1 o'clock in the morning, you think, right, better get to my bed, and then the next day you're looking for that window of opportunity to get stuck into it. You want to see if you can beat that level. It's been a long time since I've had a game that's kind of got the claws in me, or got the hooks in me, I should say. I mean, the last game that I completed in the sort of like current gen would be, what would it be? It would be The Last of Us. I'm saying current gen. It was on the PS3, and I bought The Last of Us for the PlayStation 4, and I've never even opened it yet. So that's a bit ridiculous. But talking of games, Bangkokian Ian, there's a couple of things that Ian's been doing which is really kind of, and that's got me kind of my interest peaked. As Ian has picked himself up a 360-degree camera. Now, I'd be interested to know, Ian, what is the camera you've got? I do know you've got, is it a Note 5, a Samsung Note 5, which is kind of similar. I've got the Samsung S6. Now I know the S7 is going to be coming out very shortly. But yeah, Ian's got this 360-degree camera, which is exactly what you'd expect it to be. If you make a video, or if you make a video, you're filming the whole thing. So if you hold, I mean, it's really, really clever. In fact, I'll put a link to one of Ian's videos. If you start the video and then you get your camera, not your camera, your phone, and you just turn it around, wherever you actually point the camera or point the phone, you can actually see. So if you lift the phone up like so, you can look at the sky, you're looking down at the ground. Really, really clever. Really impressed with that. I'm delighted to hear that Samsung are bringing out a 360 camera. I think it's supposed to be by the end of this quarter, so I'm reckoning it's going to be probably next month, hopefully. It's supposed to be 99. I think it's going to be $99, and it's going to be, which will probably mean £99. Now, I will be all over that like a rash. If it's half as good as what the thing that Ian's got, then I'll definitely be into that. Just fantastic. Talking of the Samsung, I've been interested to hear that the S7, which is the new Samsung phone, it's not out yet, but I think did they do some kind of reveal, or there's been pictures and all that kind of stuff. It might have been some reveal. I don't know if Samsung's kind of announced it officially, but what they're actually doing, and I think it's pretty clever, is they're going to bundle a free VR headset, which is the thing I've got. Now, some people are saying you can get the phone with a free Samsung headset, but all they're doing is adding the price of the Samsung headset onto the price of the phone. Well, that's always been the way, you buy a car, you get a free whatever, they'll just add it into the price of the phone. But I think it's a fantastic move on Samsung's part, because right now there's still a lot of people, who they don't really know what VR is, they've never really seen it, they're probably not really interested in it, but by bundling this thing with it, it's going to force people are going to have it. So if you buy a new phone, you're going to get this headset, and you're obviously going to take a look at it, and I'll guarantee that 99.99% of people that try it, like myself and like Ian, I mean, Ian mentioned in his video earlier on today, I think it was, that he had bought his VR headset based on the wee kind of review thing that I done of it. So it's one of these things, I mean, I got it based on one of my mates was talking about it. I'd never even tried it, but hearing him wax lyrical in a positive sense about it was enough to make me go out and buy one, and Ian's done the same. And I think I can guarantee that people, once you try it, you'll be blown away with it. So that's good, because what that's going to do is it's going to bring VR, it's going to make it really popular, the Samsung VR thing, and it's it's a capable system. It's just going to, the more people have got it, the more developers that are going to develop for it. So it's a win-win as far as I'm concerned. What else was I going to say there? Aye, Oculus Rift. I'm on this excuse me, I'm on this video games forum, and we've got an Oculus Rift thread, and there's a few of the guys are posting about it, and you know, a couple of the guys have got them, and one he's wanting to buy you one, and he's asking what's the best computer, and I can dip in now and again just to have a wee look, and I just get completely lost and bamboozled with, you know, some of their talk. I mean, it seems to me it's like, I don't know, to get a proper, apparently it's not the processor that really you don't want a super, well, you do want a super fast processor, that'd be daft to say you don't want one. It's not the processor that's the important part, it's the graphical power of the thing, i.e. your graphics card. Now, there's talk of like, you know, £500-600 for a graphics card. I'm sorry, I just could not see myself spending £500-600 on just a piece of equipment for a computer. I don't mind spending that amount of money on something like my main cab, something that's big, you can actually see what you're getting. I still think that Oculus Rift is still a niche market. How many games, because it's so ridiculously, well, I'm saying ridiculous, I mean, at the end of the day, if that's what it costs to produce, then fair enough, but it is really expensive, and I think for that reason there's going to be very little people buying it. Yeah, you're going to get your hardcore gamers who are always wanting the latest stuff, they'll buy it, but because of that, I really don't see the Oculus Rift in its current form becoming mainstream. It's just too expensive, and the thing is, I mean, with that thing that I've got, you buy your phone, you plug it in, away you go. You know, you can't piss about with the hardware and think, well, if I get that, a better phone or whatever. It's the same, it looks the same on whatever phone you put in it. Well, you can only put in one of 3 or 4 phones. And that's why I probably will, when it does eventually come out, jump for the, what do you call it, the Sony one, the Sony PlayStation 4. They're bringing out, I can't remember what it's called, they're bringing out a VR headset now. It's supposedly going to be about 500 quid, which again is a lot of money. But the difference with that, I think, will be, well, here's, I was going to say, if you buy a Sony headset, there's going to be tons and tons and tons of games coming out for it. But is that the case? Maybe not. Again, I've maybe just jumped the gun with what I'm saying there. If a VR headset for the PlayStation 4 is going to cost £500, it's not going to be something, it's not going to be an impulse buy. So when wee Johnny's mum goes at Christmas time down to Argos to pick up a PlayStation 4 for 150 quid, and then the guy says, you don't happen to want a VR headset? And she'll say, oh yeah, how much is that? Oh, it's £500. She'll be like, no, you're alright. So yeah, if it's going to be that expensive, then I think it's going to fall into the same trap as Oculus Rift and the PC. The price alone, I think, is going to be very prohibitive. I mean, there's always, well, I was going to say there's more PS4s out there than PlayStations, than PCs. That's not true. I think possibly the PlayStations might sell more units. There again, I don't know. I really don't know. But I think that's the appeal of the Samsung VR headset. You know, for £99, it's not a lot of money. Not, you know, £99. What can you do with that nowadays? You know, you can't even, well, you can buy a couple of video games. I mean, you couldn't buy a games console for that. But £99 is very much, it's a punt price. People will take a punt on it because of the price. Would you take a punt spending £500 on an Oculus Rift? Well, I think it's £500-600 for the unit. Then you've got I think you're looking at about 1,500, £2,000 for a computer. So having to shell out about £2,500 to play a VR game is one thing. It's not something that I would like to spend. you know. But so anyway, back to the Samsung thing. I think it's an excellent move on their part that they're going to punt this out with the S7. Hopefully that will make it more, it'll obviously get the VR headset into more homes, and hopefully it will continue to flourish, because I mean, there's a lot of apps coming out for it. But one thing that, again, it was Ian, Bangkokian Ian, actually showed me. He has put up a video, I'll put a wee link to Ian's video below, of Quake running on this VR headset. Now, anybody that's played Quake will know what a fantastic game it is. Yeah, it's quite kind of dated looking now, you know, in comparison to what you've got nowadays, but to run that, you need to put a thing, because, well, basically what it is, when an app is approved by Samsung, then it will end up on the Oculus Rift store thing, whatever it's called. But until it's approved, it won't end up in the store. But there's a thing called, let me get this right, Side Load VR. It's a little app that you download from the Google Play Store, and what you then have to do is you have to register your phone. It generates a code, and you put the code in this website, and it generates this file, blah blah blah. I'm not going into details, but basically once you've registered your unit, you're basically registering yourself as a developer. And there's this side load VR. There's actually a side load VR sort of store. Everything's completely free, and it's basically developers putting up apps, games, utilities, whatever you want to call it. They put it up for developers to try to feedback how it runs. So that's why it exists. But anybody can sign up for it. I mean, I managed to figure out how to do it. If anybody wants any instructions on how to do it, just let me know, and I'll do my best to talk you through it. I did actually contact Ian and ask him, because I wasn't too sure what I was doing, but if you actually just read the instructions, it's actually fairly simple. So within about 5 minutes, I had my my phone registered, and I was playing Quake. So I've got the it's the public domain. That's not a word you hear very often these days, or shareware. It's the shareware version of Quake. The only thing I couldn't do is I couldn't get the right stick to move. But basically, yeah, if you can imagine, you turn your head, and that's obviously where you're looking, and you can use the sort of left analog stick to move forwards and kind of strafe left and right. But phenomenal, really cracking looking. I just hope I can get the right stick to work so I can actually turn. But yeah, it's absolutely incredible. So I'm still loving the Samsung VR. In fact, I was at the computer club last week, and one of my mates, Dave, I took along the VR thing, and one of my mates, Dave, he's heavily into his classic video games like myself. It was him that built my main cab. I let him have a shot of the VR thing, and he was just completely blown away. He really was. I think the thing that impressed him the most was the cinema, the Oculus video, where you're actually in a cinema. I mean, Dave has actually got a home cinema. He's got a big double room. No, in fact, I'm talking bollocks. He's got a garage which he actually converted into a cinema. So he's got, I think it's like 4 proper cinema seats with the juice holders, as you would expect. He's not got a projector. He's got a 60-inch TV or something. It's fantastic, really good. So out of anybody who should least be impressed, it would be Dave, because he's got a cinema in his house. But he was blown away with this thing, and he said that if he had it, he would absolutely watch all his films on it. So the very next day, I got a text from Dave asking what the name of the app is and how does he go about getting it. But he was a bit disappointed when I told him that he'd need to get himself a new phone, because I think he's got an Apple phone, so he obviously can't use the Samsung thing with it. But he was really impressed. But honestly, if you're looking to get a new phone, you want to upgrade to a new phone, and you want to go top of the range, I could not convince you enough to go and buy a Samsung. I've got the S6, and to my mind, I like it better than the iPhone 6. There's, quality wise, there's not a lot to choose between them. I just think the Samsung S6 is very, very impressive. So you're getting yourself a cracking phone, and you know, another 99 quid, and you can get yourself a VR. But if you want to go the full hog and get yourself the brand new S7 and VR headset, then I would say absolutely go for it. Right, okay, enough about VR stuff. Excuse me. Right, I've only got a couple of things that I've written down here, which it came to my mind earlier on. One of them is why I love the familiarity of YouTube. What am I trying to say here? Was it yesterday or the day before? I think it was Tuesday. Tuesday. No, it was Wednesday. It was Wednesday. Now, for whatever reason, you know how sometimes you wait, you know, you go to your bed, you fall asleep obviously, and you maybe have a dream about something. Now, I don't mind telling you, I mean, both my parents have passed away rather sadly. So I'm 48 and don't have any parents now, so I miss them like crazy. But every now and again, I'll have a dream about them, and when I wake up the next morning, I'm it puts you just in a general depressive mood. I mean, I don't class myself as ever being depressed. I mean, I'm actually quite a sort of outgoing person. I'm always very happy. I was one of these people who would always say to me, "Oh, look at you, how come you're always smiling?" And I was like, well, life's too short to be depressed. But yeah, I woke up on Tuesday morning or Wednesday morning, and I was just feeling really, really down. Sad, and I couldn't really put a finger on why I was feeling like that. I mean, I was working, and I just felt really fed up. Don't know why. And then it was later on. In fact, I was having something to eat at lunchtime. I put on. In fact, it was Lawn Boys post 1975. I put on one of his videos, and it's bizarre. I can't even remember what he was talking about. No, he wasn't talking about social media. I can't remember. He was talking about something, but I can't remember fully what it was. But it kind of cheered me up, and it got me thinking. I mean, I really don't watch much TV. I mean, my wife tends to, she'll sit downstairs and watch stuff on TV, as most people do. But if she's maybe working late, or if she's away, she goes down south sometimes, stays overnight with work. I've seen the TV won't even be switched on. My like viewing of films, TVs, whatever, is not TVs. Like my media watching tends to be YouTube now, and I think it's because, like I says, it's the familiarity. It's like instead of watching BBC One, I've got channel Lactobacillus Prime. I've got channel Steve Benway. I've got channel Lawn Boys Post, channel Monkey Spaz, Gashead Steve, Novabug, Adam, everybody, all you fantastic YouTubers. You've got your own TV channel, I mean, or YouTube channel, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, it's to me, it's like TV. So I've got all these personalised channels of people that, you know, I like to think I sort of know. I don't know. I mean, I've not met many of you, but I like to think I know you fairly well through watching, through interacting on YouTube. And especially in light of the last few weeks with my channel, all the support and help that I've been given. But there's something really comforting about being able to put the computer on and sticking a Monkey Spaz commentary of Games Master. Just hearing somebody that I know, like a mate, talking, it's quite relaxing, and it's like, you know, coming home and putting your favourite pair of, I don't wear slippers, but it's a bad comparison, but it's like coming home and putting your favourite pair of slippers on. You know you're home, and it's the same with YouTube. Watching videos of people that I know, there's something just hugely satisfying, if that makes any sense. But moving on from that, it's funny how, I mean, this is 99% of my media watching is on YouTube, and you know, I've got a sort of varied interest in different things, and I happened to what was I put on? I happened to put on a thing about snooker, and of course you get, you know, YouTube recommends all these different snooker videos, and so for the last couple of weeks I've just been going through and watching various snooker videos, stuff that you would never be able to see on TV. I was watching one, it was like the Masters Classic, and it was all, excuse me very much, that's my chips coming back to bite me. I was watching, it was like the Grand Masters, it was like Kirk Stevens and Cliff Thorburn, Jimmy White, Dennis Taylor, watching these guys taking part in a competition. Now that is something that just simply would not be there on TV. If I wanted to watch that, it wouldn't exist. But YouTube has got this, it's like the biggest TV channels ever. Everything's there. You name it. You want to watch a thing about ghosts, you want to watch a thing about, I mean, I was at my mate's house last night, and we were watching, you've probably seen the video that's been doing the rounds on Facebook. It says Boston Dynamics, a research company who do a lot of work on robots, and they've released this, which I can only describe as absolutely terrifying. It's a robot that walks, and this thing was like walking across snow, and it was kind of falling. It was like walking on rocks, and it was kind of almost stumbling, but it was able to keep its balance. And and then they had this thing in a warehouse, and the guy put down like a cardboard box for it to pick up, and this thing walked. I mean, it's bloody frighteningly realistic. This thing walked, went to pick up the cardboard box, and as it picked it up, the guy got a stick and he just battered the box out its hand, so the box fell, and the robot started walking, picked up again, and the guy hit it out the robot's hand. Then as the robot went to pick it up, the guy was kind of pushing it out of the way, and eventually this thing picked it up. Then the guy turns around and he gets his stick, and as the robot's walking away from him, he just gives it a mighty shove, and he pushes this bloody robot face down, face plant, you know, knocks it over. And you can almost imagine this robot, it kind of pauses for about 10 seconds, probably because it's computing, right, I need to do this, you know, it needs to figure out how to get up. But if you didn't know better, you think that this computer was thinking, right, I'm going to take this bastard out, nobody pushes me. So all they really need to do is get some kind of laser gun, and that would be it, we're all stuffed. But yeah, you should Google it, it's Boston Dynamics. But last night I was telling my mate about it, and we started watching again on YouTube. We watched one on YouTube, and then it just automatically plays a series of these robots, and some of them are bloody terrifying. I mean, there's the Japanese, obviously, we know what they're like. They're way ahead of the game when it comes to technology, but they've got these super realistic looking young girl robot things. I mean, it's very, very iffy looking when you see them, but they're just bloody terrifying. They're so realistic. It's you know, I'm quite sure that in 50 years time, and I'm long gone, you'll probably be watching some robot on his YouTube channel talking about stuff. But yeah, so YouTube. But like I was saying, it's there's something really comforting about watching YouTube videos, and I'm not talking about just watching anything. I'm talking about being able to watch my mates, you know, Ashens, Steve Benny, all these guys, just watching all your videos. You know, there's something great about that. Am I the only person that finds that? I mean, I know I've had a few nice comments about the Friday Waffle in the past. You know, a few people have said to me that the Friday Waffle, him and his wife, they watch it and when they're eating breakfast on a Saturday morning, so it's become a bit of a routine. I think if I was to only make one video, it would probably have to be the Friday Waffle, because I think that seems to be the one that people seem to kind of enjoy, they expect it, you know. And I know when Steve Benway did the Friday Talkie, I wouldn't say I couldn't wait, but I was always, when it got to Friday, I was always looking forward to watching the Friday Talkie. Because it's just, you become used to it, and so people, you know, look forward to something. And I think one guy mentioned that he used to listen to my Friday Waffle when he's on the bus or standing waiting on the bus in the pissing rain, so it's good to know that somebody enjoys it anyway. Right, Second, I've only got two things actually to talk about. Well, I've got one question as well. Now what prompted this? It was Lactobacillus Prime. He did make a video of it, but he made a comment and a post on Facebook, and he was just talking about how when a game is released on, the PS4 or Xbox One, if you buy it on disc and you put it in, it's guaranteed that it won't just work. The first thing it'll say is there's a 6 gig patch update. Now what a lot of these updates do is they don't just apply a patch. If you think back to the early days with computer games, or not early days, the early PC games, you would get a game for your PC, say Doom for example, and then you would hear about it maybe a couple of weeks later that there's been a patch released, and it would maybe just be a 2-3 meg, whatever it is, depending on the size of the game, and you'd run this patch and it would fix things, whatever. But what now seems to happen with games is instead of releasing a small patch, a small program, they release the whole game in its entirety, which means you've got to download the bloody thing again. And it's Mark was saying, it's reached the point now that where is the incentive to buy a disc, because really the discs that you buy aren't really going to work, because it's almost like you're only getting it 72% complete, because when you buy it, as soon as you put it in your machine, it's going to want to update. And just talking about that, it kind of got me thinking about a few things. I mean, I'm sitting here with, all these different machines. I've got my 3DO, I've got my Sega Saturn, my Dreamcast, all these different machines, and I can pick any one of, hundreds and hundreds of games to play. Well, you have that option. It seems that for a lot of these consoles to work now, you need to have an internet connection. So what's going to happen in, we'll say 20 years time, probably even 10 years time, we'll say 20 just to keep on the safe side. In 20 years time, when you're going to have, it'll be the PSX, not the PSX, the PSX is the first one, you're going to have the PlayStation 10, something like that. If somebody offers you a PS4, will you be able to play any games in it? I don't know. If it's going the way it's going, that you're going to just get games that are only going to be available digitally, which would be a bad thing, because I don't think you should ever have to have an internet connection for it to work. Does it mean that there's ever going to be a second-hand market for these consoles? Because it could well be that once the PS4 is superseded, like what happened with the Xbox and Xbox 360, shortly after they'll probably pull the server on the PS4 games, so it could well be that you can't physically play games in it. So it could be that in 20 years time you're going to buy a PS4 on eBay, whatever it is, for maybe 20 quid, but you may not be able to actually do anything with it. You might buy it just so you've got it, but then there again, what would be the appeal of having that black slab of plastic if it doesn't actually work? But yeah, it got me thinking about something. And what was the question I actually said? Would it bother you as a gamer if no more video games were ever made? Now what I mean by that is, well, literally just what I've said. If Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, video game, mobile phone companies, whatever, if they decided one day that the marketplace was no longer lucrative, there was no money to be made through selling games, that henceforth Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo were pulling the rug from all these systems, so you could not buy any more video games. You couldn't play video games on your phone, you couldn't play video games, you couldn't buy video games to the PC, anything. Would it bother you? Would it bother me? I would be slightly saddened, thinking, well, we're never going to see any more or any newer technology. But it would really bother me? Probably not, because The fact that I make a YouTube channel about playing old video games probably says it all. I get a tremendous amount of pleasure out of playing really old games, whether it's Manic Miner, whether it's I don't know, Tomb Raider, whether it's Arkanoid, whether it's Robotron. Now, I've got, I don't know how many systems, I probably have about, I don't know, 50, 60 gaming systems in this house. Probably about 40, 30 of them in this room at the moment. Now, I have got tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of ROMs. Now, I know some people will get all fidgety when you mention the word ROMs with a Z. Doesn't bother me because nobody's making any money yet. But technically I don't own the ROMs, but I'm not hurting anybody. So I have got a choice of tens of thousands of games that I have never ever played that I could still play. I mean, I could literally probably play 5 brand new games every single day, play it for a day, and then the next day play another 5 games, and the next day play another 5 games, and it would probably see me out until I go to the great big arcade in the sky. So personally, it doesn't bother me. Yeah, I do like. I mean, I'm very much a techie person. I love new technology. I love virtual reality. I love iPads and whatever. You know, I love embracing all the technology. But given what I said earlier on, I've hardly played my PlayStation 4. I've hardly played my Xbox One. Excuse me. So I don't really, the biggest chunk of my gaming is on older systems. So if it turns out that one day there was going to be no more video games made, I don't mean you couldn't play video games, but there was going to be no more newer ones made, it really wouldn't bother me. I've got a main cab there that's got, I don't know, 5,000 games in it. I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of original games to play. So, like I says, I have got more than plenty. I know there's an awful lot of people that, I mean, I have a few mates who they like to sort of, I think they kind of pretend that they like old systems. But when you actually talk to them, you realise that all they play is the new systems. Guys like that would probably want to go and slit their wrists if they found out that there was going to be no more no more games made, which is fair enough. But like I says, I am firmly old school, so it wouldn't bother me in the slightest. In fact, it might be cheaper actually, because it means I wouldn't have to go and fork out money. It's, it would mean that there's a finite number of systems and a finite number of games, which means I don't have to keep spending loads of money on all these new systems. So, what's your thoughts? Would it actually bother you if, all the big companies announced that there was going to be no more video games ever getting made? Would you be sad? Or could you live? Do you think you could get by on playing all your old systems? I certainly could. I would be sad that I think, well, here we go. This thing that I was lucky enough to be part of right back in the day is now no more, but I've got plenty to keep me going. Like I says, I know that I'm going to only scratch the surface of the games that I've got before I shuffle my mortal coil up to the arcade in the sky. So anyway, enough of the depressing talk. Yep, that's it. That is all I have to waffle about. I've just got the one question from Kev down the rabbit hole. Thank you as usual, Kev. He's always he's the most reliable person. You really need to start giving me some questions, guys. I mean, I know there's been a few of you in the last couple of weeks have given me a few, but please, if you've got anything at all you want me to talk about, any questions at all within reason, then I'll absolutely do my best, because I do need feedback to keep this waffle from drying up, because sometimes it gets to Friday and I think to myself, bollocks, I've got nothing to talk about, but I invariably manage to talk pish for about 40 minutes. So, anyway, Kev, what is he saying? For the Friday Waffle, hi Alan. After last week's Street Fighter V controversy, YouTube is ablaze with angry gamers versus Capcom defenders. Seeing people argue and fight over what Capcom was thinking in launching Street Fighter V in such an unfinished state, makes me wonder if something similar happened back in the old days. Can you think of anything like that? About the closest match I can think of was when Nintendo released the Virtual Boy. When that console released, it had serious detractors, but also fans defending it passionately because it was a Nintendo product. So what you're saying, Kev, is, yeah, has there ever been a product, whether it's a game, a system, that was absolutely panned, but there was always people that were going to back it? I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's been. I'm trying to think. What systems would you technically term as a bit of a failure? I mean, the Sega machines, not the Mega Drive, obviously that was a massive success. The Saturn died very, very early. I mean, you know, it had a very, very short lifespan, and then the Dreamcast, which followed it, it had a very, very short thing. Now, I can't say that people. It's not a bad example. People certainly didn't pan them at all. It was the company. Yeah, that's a bad example. The company Sega just pulled the plug on them. But these are two consoles which have got a absolutely staunch level of support, because they're both fantastic machines. So no, that's really not one. The Virtual Boy. Well, you know what? Let me just. I need to actually do another pickup. You've probably seen my Virtual Boy. It appears at the start of every video. There it's there. Now it's funny, in fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to let you see a wee comparison. Right. Now I'm not quite sure when this came out. Was it not about 1996? Something like that. It's a wee bit dusty. You can see there, it's got the cloth part for putting your face in it, like so. And it's actually really, really comfy. It's obviously pretty heavy because that is the hardware. I mean, that is the hardware. The joystick plugs in. Where does the joystick plug in about? The joystick plugs in underneath there, and obviously the big thing that, you know, with this thing, you couldn't put an elastic band down that. You had to actually hold it, or else you had a stand which you sat on. You sat that on the stand, and then you just put your face up to it. But yeah, that was an almighty flop. Now, probably a lot of people watching this video they've probably seen one of these, but they've never actually tried it. Now, I was lucky enough to try that out. When did I try it out? I very, very, very first tried it out in 2005, I think it was, but I kind of forgot all about it. But then when I started going to the computer club in Edinburgh, one of the guys, Bill, he brought along his one. And I was just, I was blown away with how good it is. Really, seriously effective. Now, it's not something like the VR thing I've got. It's not something that you would want to play for any length of time, because apparently the reason it was pulled was because there was people complaining that they were getting headaches and they were feeling nauseous and that kind of stuff. But it's like when a pharmaceutical company bring out new medicine, if one person maybe, what do you call it, I don't know, gets a sore head, or they pee blood or something because of this thing, but if one person has a side effect, they must put it on the instructions saying side effect may cause you to piss blood, or you may cause you to get a sore head. And so apparently that was the case with the Virtual Boy. There was a few people that got headaches, and because of that, excuse me, the press got to know about it, and boom, that was it. This Nintendo's Virtual Boy gives you headaches. It probably appeared in the bloody newspaper, the Daily Mail, I'm guessing, and Nintendo quickly pulled the plug on it, which was a shame, because you'll probably find that 9 out of 10 people are absolutely fine with it. It's like any of these things, you certainly wouldn't want to put it on for 2-3 hours at a time, you know, maybe 10-20 minutes at a time is absolutely fine. But anyway, let me just since I've got it, here's the, it's interesting to actually compare, you know, Nintendo weren't that far off the mark. When you see this is obviously brand new, and this is 96, 16, yeah, this is 20 years old, this is brand new. To actually look fairly similar. You know, when you see it, yeah, this is a fair bit heavier because obviously it's got the actual unit, whereas this is just a, basically, maybe it's got two wee lenses on it and you stick your phone in the front. But aye, that was certainly one, Kev, where it was panned. You know, the thing that annoys me, and this kind of is similar to what Lawn Boy's post was talking about social media, there are always this section of the population who don't know anything about something, but because they've been told that it's shite, or been told that it doesn't work, or whatever it is, or they've been told that this is bad. Facebook is bad. Have you tried it? No. But oh, it's terrible, it's really bad. People start judging and commenting on stuff that they know nothing about. They know absolutely nothing about. And you probably find that it's the same with computer games or hardware. People who have never ever even tried a system or played a game, because they've been told it's crap, they will then tell other people it's crap. So it's one of these things, don't comment on something until you've actually tried it. As, what's his face, Confucius say, don't judge a man until you have walked in his moccasins for 2 moons. So think about it. Yep, never judge a man until you've actually walked in his shoes for 2 days, and then you realise, well, okay, he's like that because, and that's actually got a lot of truth in it. Just wish the... Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that. we've talked about that until the cows come home. But aye, that's it. I can't think, is there anything else? Again, another one was Atari Jaguar. If you speak to anybody about the Atari Jaguar or the 3DO, they say it's crap, it's shite. In fact, another example is E.T. There was a feature or an article in the BBC website last week, and it was, I don't know why they dug it out of the ground again. They were basically saying how E.T. was responsible for the collapse of the video game industry. Now that is complete and utter bollocks, it really is. But because, apparently because it's the worst game ever. And they were talking to the guy, I think they were talking to the guy that made it, I can't remember his name. And he made the worst game ever. Well, the people that make comments like that have obviously never played video games. I've played E.T., it's quite a frustrating game. Is it the worst game ever? Absolutely not. I have played 100 games that are 10 times worse. But it's that's just an example of, and it's the same with the Atari Jaguar 3DO. You say to somebody, oh, do you want to buy a Jaguar? No, it's crap, oh, the games are shit. And it's like, have you tried one? No, but it's utter garbage. It's like, so you've already formed an opinion on something and you haven't even tried it for yourself. And that's how you tend to find these things go with hardware. You know, the Jaguar died very, very early on in its life, as did the 3DO, although I think that was down to the cost of it. But the Jaguar, it wasn't successful. Was it the Atari's last machine? I can't remember if it was. But yeah, people, you talk to 99, you ask 100 people, you know, who know about computer games, how would you rate the Jaguar? Absolute shit. Then you know, you see, have you owned one? No. Have you ever tried one? No. The people, you'll probably find that the people that actually do own them actually think it's alright. I've got an Atari Jaguar. It's where is it? There, it's here. Yep, it's actually on top of my PS4. I happen to think it's great. Yeah, a lot of the games are crap, but there's some fantastic games for it. So I think that's what you find, Kev. There's people who just, you know, they make their mind up about something without even trying it. But I know you're talking about Street Fighter. You know, that's something. Yeah, there's obviously a lot of people upset that it doesn't really have a one-player mode. So yeah, it's one of these things when you take anything and you put it onto social media, there's always going to be arguments. No matter what, you're always going to get that. But anyway, listen, that's enough. I've probably been whittling on way too long. So that is it, guys. To all my new subscribers, there's been a few of you. Thank you very much for joining the channel. I appreciate your subscription. I appreciate your support. I just hope that I put out enough stuff that's going to make you want to hang around. You know, again, thanks to all the YouTube community. I still can't quite get my head round that I'm aiming towards 700 subscribers when only 2 weeks ago I was on 500. And like I said, I do feel slightly, I cheated slightly. But as you know, you all know how I got to where I got. It wasn't intentional, you know. But yeah, it's all good. So aye, that is it. Thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you enjoy it. If you've not subscribed and you want to see more videos by myself, just please hit that like and subscribe button, because it helps to kind of boost things. I don't make any money with this channel, but it helps to kind of make other people aware of it. I was going to say one quick thing. One thing I might do is a new feature. Yeah, I was supposed to be speaking to Jim Bagley Tuesday there, but there was a slight technical hitch, so it didn't happen. I am still hoping to speak to Jim in the next sort of couple of weeks. One thing that's kind of crossed my mind in the aftermath of all the support that I was getting from everybody. I've always tried to kind of, it sounds arrogant, I don't mean this, I've always tried to help smaller channels. I mean, I'm a fucking tiny channel, but I've always liked to try and involve other people, and whether they're bigger channels, smaller channels, I love speaking to other people. That's what I really enjoy. So what I'm planning to do, a wee feature, is I'm going to get a channel on that I think maybe just needs a wee leg up, because at the end of the day, if you've got more subscribers, technically more people watching your channel, and you mention another channel who's maybe not got quite as many, and tell people to go and watch it, then it's going to hopefully get them 1 or 2 extra people. So another wee feature, I know I've got more features than a bloody Vauxhall Vectra, but some of them that work, some of them don't work. But yeah, what I'm planning to do is have a wee tie up with some of the other channels, some of my favourite channels, and just give them a wee bit of an opportunity to talk about their channel. We can talk how they got into YouTube, why they enjoy it, what do they get out of it, and hopefully that will maybe give them a wee bit more kind of exposure as well. You know, I've had plenty from all you guys, so this thing is all about a community. It's all about helping each other. We all do it for nothing, you know what I mean? There's a couple of people make a few quid out of it probably, but that's it. We all do it for nothing. It's just a hobby at the end of the day. And it's important that, yeah, in fact Dave Lawnboy's post was talking about how the community got more negative, but yeah, I think it's a fantastic wee community. I really do. It's about helping each other, because we're all talking about what we love, and you know, the more of us that do that, the better, as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, that is it, guys. That is me done and dusted. Have a fantastic weekend, and as usual, thank you very much for watching.